right, welcome back to another episode of Stories from the Dirt. Today we have with us Gloria, who was on one of the Bronco teams this year, and this was I just moved my camera. This is just finishing up her rookie year, so we wanted to follow up and learn, how it went, how did it compare to what your expectations were,
All the
any other
things.
thoughts you might have. Yeah. Hi, welcome, Gloria.
Yeah, thanks for having me back, you guys. Well, yeah, like you said, I did just complete, my rookie year, and it was a lot harder than I expected, but in a good way. You know, um,
Good.
these things you don't expect for them to be so hard or so easy because, as mentioned before by Emily Miller, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it, and I've heard
Repeat
that.
after yourself.
Yeah, and I've heard that before. Even signing up when I was watching last year's Rebel, and yeah, it was hard. It was tough, but I enjoyed every bit of it. I think one of the biggest things for me was how I saw myself improve every day. I thought that was amazing.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah. Also, I just brushed over that because I'm terrible at introductions, but let's all welcome Kara as our new co-host for this season.
Hello, hello.
Woo!
I'm super excited to be here, and I'm super excited actually to get to talk to Gloria because during the rally, like I think I carried her bags one day, but other than that, I don't
Oh,
think I
there
ever
was a day you
talked to
did
her.
help. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Yeah. I do appreciate it. I remember that day. My wife was also rooting for your team.
Oh,
Oh, that's so
nice.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. It's fun to have the people at home rooting. You have a lot of social following, Gloria? How was the response like when you got back?
It was
The
really
love and
good.
support.
Yeah, so I didn't know how I was going to feel about getting my phone back, right? Um,
Mm.
but I want to say a day or two after I did post on my stories some pictures and just questions, right? Like if you have any questions, ask. And I actually got quite a bit, which was really, really good. I am an admin for the Broncos of Texas here, and they asked a lot on Facebook too. So it was really cool. And a lot of them actually want to get together on the side as we go wheeling at one of the off road parks here and kind of have a little sit down chit chat 30 minutes or something just to kind of go over what Rebel Rally is. Because even though people are starting to learn about it, a lot still don't know,
Yeah.
and sometimes they'd rather hear it from someone who's done it firsthand. I think that really helps a lot. So there is a lot of there was an overwhelming response and everything, and I didn't know how I was going to feel getting my phone back because normally I do a lot of social media, as you said, and I was kind of like, whoa, taken aback by all of
Yeah.
the questions and everything. But yeah, it was good.
When did you turn your phone on? Like,
uh,
were you immediate or did you like let it set for a minute?
so I kind of held it in my hand for a little bit, and as we were going through the finish line, and I was like, God, I'm gonna turn this back on. Like I already know because I already have like just so many notifications, especially on Instagram. I was like, this is going to be wild. But luckily, we
Yeah.
didn't really have service, right? T-Mobile out there, and it wasn't the best. So I just
Oh,
kind of turned it on, and I was like, okay. But I kept it face down. I didn't really, get on it until after we crossed, after I had my stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm going to sit down, drink some water, and let's open that up. First
Yeah.
people I
I
wanted to
didn't
go ahead.
I was just gonna say I handle the socials for all of our things too.
Yeah,
And we have a YouTube channel full time. I don't know if you knew that, and so that's what we do. But
nice.
so Sunday, I didn't turn mine on until Sunday afternoon.
Oh, nice.
I was like, nope.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the service was so bad though for me. Like it was almost as
Yeah,
if
it
I
wasn't
couldn't.
there.
Yeah, it wasn't there for.
mm. Yeah, I have Verizon. I had good service. I am, as anybody probably knows, sort of lame and unshowing up on social media. So I just turned mine on because that's the only way I
Rob.
can talk to Rob.
Hmm.
And
Mhm.
being that he's my person, that's the first thing I want to do is talk to him. And so this year was kind of nice because of the way we were all parked, and I just put the tailgate down and sat there and
Mm.
looked across the lake bed and
Yeah,
just chatted with him.
yeah, that's so awesome.
But there
Yeah,
were
go ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I want to say the first person I wanted to talk to obviously was my daughter and my wife for sure. Those
Yeah.
were
Mhm.
the first ones. So it
Yeah.
was
Yeah,
good to see
that's
their
special. You
lives.
don't want to miss that.
Yeah, it's my biggest fans right there. My biggest supporters in all of this. Not
Mhm.
just the competition, but off roading itself. Like I made a post recently talking about um just how much they support me with it and knowing that it's not just a hobby, it's therapy for me. So it's really
Yeah.
important
Mhm.
to me.
Yeah, so that was one of my questions for you because this year, obviously, you were a navigator, but you love to drive. So how was that sitting in the passenger seat and, like, not having control of the wheel and being like, "Oh my
I
god,
hate
this
not having
terrain is
control.
awesome."
Yeah, so you wanna know when it was the toughest? It was when we had a long stretch. You know,
Mm.
anything over 10 kilometers or I felt was I was like, "I wanna get behind the wheel. I wanna get behind the wheel. Give me 2 miles, I'm good. I'll get it out of my system," right?
Yeah.
But I love to navigate too. I really do. I really love looking at maps, reading maps. But I did. There were times, especially during Death Valley, that was a long stretch. I really wanted to
Mm.
get behind the wheel. I just wanted to just rip it, right? Even at the speed limit we had, but it feels good to be behind the wheel. But
Had Megan done any navigation training, or were you just like solely the navigator? Like y'all were very definitive in
oh,
your
I
roles.
was solely the navigator, but Megan did do a little training with Shelby Hall
Hmm.
once prior earlier in the year. She did that once, and she's you know she has it. She has an understanding of the maps and navigating and all that good stuff. So
Was there any like thought like let's switch for just a minute just to give me that drive?
no,
Okay, gotcha.
When Liz and I were going into it, I kind of started like, I mean, maybe because I just looking down at the maps just gets like, I thought maybe I would want time to just lift my chin up and, look around in the world. But we never ended up switching. And then the one time I was like, okay, well, we made this turn, like I can relax for 12 kilometers. So like I just check out. And next thing I know, the road we're looking for isn't there. And that's because we've made the wrong turn. And I just checked out as soon as we made it and
Too
didn't check our
long.
heading. Yeah. But fortunately, it was only 12 kilometers.
yeah.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah, I want to say that happened to me too. And there was a few times where I would just like you, I'd lift my head up and be like, I'm gonna look outside. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
my eyes off this map. Plus, it's a good little reset. Those few minutes. It really is. It really does help
Absolutely.
because it's mentally draining. It's mentally exhausting, and your
It
eyes
really
are
is.
just locked in, right? So
Hmm.
it's a good little break. And there was times I'd be like, "Oh, we went too far," But I tell her too. I'm like, "Hey, look around," because as a driver too, you're just like this, right? You're looking, you're scanning right in front. You're not really scanning all the way to the left and the right. And I would tell her, look to your left, look to your right. She's like, oh, wow, that's beautiful. Right. So, I mean, that felt good. But just like you, there were times when we'd pass and I'd be like, oh, we got to backtrack just a little bit.
Yeah.
But it happens.
Stop.
That's so funny that dynamics are so different. Like I can't imagine as a driver. Like I'm calling things out. I'm looking left and I'm looking right. So I can't imagine you as a navigator seeing that is amazing because usually your head's down so much. So the fact that you were appreciative of that moment. We switched for enduros. So like
Mhm.
I was a navigator for the enduros while Danielle drove, and that gave her just a different like that's a reset, like you said.
Yeah.
It just really helped us.
That's awesome. I bet that was so fun too. Yeah. The resets are so important. A lot of times, I feel like it would slip people's minds because you're just kind of, in your zone, in your
Hmm.
role. And
Yeah.
even just like I said, just those few minutes to look up, rest your neck with that helmet and just kind of rest your
Hmm.
eyes too. It really helped a lot for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. For sure. Just as long as you remember to check your heading before
Of
you
course.
check out too much.
Always.
What do you mean we're going northeast? We're not supposed to be going northeast.
Oops.
Probably did happen a couple times actually.
Yeah.
Northeast,
And
no, wrong
then
way.
we stopped one time and pulled over and I'm like, because we have this new compass, just like a boat compass
Oh
inside
yeah,
the
yeah.
Mhm.
vehicle because we lost our digital compass when we disabled the nav and all that. And so I was like, is the compass right? Are we really going north? Where's south? And Liz is sitting there and she was like, I don't know where south is. And I was like, "Can you use your compass and figure it out?" She's like, "Oh, I can."
Yeah.
It's just that exhaustion factor, right?
Mhm.
Like, we're stopped on the side of the road. We're pretty sure we're not going where we're supposed to be going, and neither one of us can figure out where south is because, like, our brains are just like,
Yeah.
"Oh my
Yeah.
god, how did we
Mhm.
get here? Why are we going north? Are we really going north? We're not supposed to
Yeah.
be. We couldn't be.
Where
No,
am
it's not north."
I?
Yeah, and
Turns
I
out,
You
think
yeah,
have to
it was
admit,
north.
I never saw the lunar crater, y'all. The big crater
oh, I
that
didn't
was
see it
next to the
either.
green.
I
Never saw
stayed.
it.
I didn't see it either. You're not alone.
No. Uh-uh.
Now I see it in
No.
pictures, but
I
The
know. I'm like, how did I miss
yeah,
that?
I didn't see it. I didn't catch it. That's okay. And I was gonna say, I think um no one will ever really understand how much our brain is working and our eyes are working until
Mhm.
you've been in that navigator seat. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't know. You don't realize, and you can train and train and train. But to
Mhm.
do that 8 days straight, right? Wake up every morning, get your mind right, start your day, end your day, go to sleep, do it again, over
Yeah.
and over. You don't realize, and you're just like,
Mm-mm.
wow, right?
And you
So
try to explain it to somebody and you like 2 seconds, they're, like, checked out. They're like,
yeah.
"Cool, cool."
Yep, yep.
So, speaking to that, what were you prepared for the level of fatigue, mentally, physically,
Mm,
emotionally, that is the Rebel Rally?
Emotionally, yeah, I was good.
You were.
Um,
Okay.
yeah. Physically, I want to say I was good too. I was probably in the car more than anything, right?
Yeah.
But there were times where I did step out if I wanted to go up to the dunes. Like, it was for
Mhm.
me, that was easy. It was okay. Um, but all day looking at maps like that, no, like that was a
Yeah.
lot. Um, I don't want to say it was like too much that I couldn't do it, because obviously I finished, right? We finished
Yeah.
as a team, but it was a lot more than what I expected, for sure. And I think that anyone that comes into this, you'd have to train and train and train and train consistently, right? And be very disciplined at training all day for a few
Mhm.
days, which can be very tough with people's schedules, but all day for a few days to actually get an understanding of what you're about to face starting.
mhm,
Yeah. But
mhm.
even that, you don't have the external pressure of, "Oh my god, this is for the beans."
Time.
Exactly.
Right?
That
You're
too.
like, "Okay, I'm just out here having fun training." Like, if I click and it's a wide miss, I'm not gonna have to go back to base camp and see that -10 on my score sheet. No big
Exactly.
deal.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot
Yep.
of other moving parts, while you're competing. And when you get to the end of the day, it's just like, wow.
Yeah. And you're not
Yeah.
sitting in a vehicle, like,
Yes. Oh
do
yeah.
like,
That was
having your eyes
so
to adjust, you know?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
I know
sure.
Danielle, like, day 6 and 7, she was just having trouble just visual like, her eyes even, like, she could look at the map, but it was just, like, not like, she couldn't see it, like, it was just crazy.
Yeah. I want to
Yeah.
say I had times like that too.
Yeah, I think that's what you can't prepare a rookie for. Like, if
Mhm.
you've never been there and done it, no words can describe that
Correct.
feeling.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah.
simulate that out before the rally.
That's for sure. And even too, from getting the in between of one checkpoint to the next, right?
Mhm,
That speed that you should have, that pace that
Mhm.
you should keep throughout, you don't think of that when you're training outside. You really
mm-mm,
don't
Yeah.
until you're in it. And I was just like, I gotta be faster. I've got to
Yeah.
tell you where we're going. Like, the minute you step out, I already have to pretty much know what we're doing next, because you could run up, click, come back.
mhm.
I need to know. You
Yeah.
need to know, right? As the driver, my driver needs to know. Those things now.
Especially when drivers wanna be quick, like, the drivers always like, because 'cause we're like, "Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go," and you're like, "Hold on, I gotta
Hold on.
measure."
Yep, yep. And I think that, as a driver, drivers, I think, really need to know that, like, we can only go so fast too, right? Our eyes and our
Mhm,
brains, and just thinking of that next move, trying to get the kilometer. Like, there was many times, and I felt bad. I had to tell Megan, "Hey, I need you to slow down, pull over to the side, because we're going." And I'm like this on the map, right?
right,
Yeah.
Trying to measure my
right,
kilometers. I couldn't. I said, just really
yeah,
quick, give me like 5 seconds so I can
Yeah.
tell
yeah,
you.
Yeah. It's
And
that just stop in the middle of the road for 5 seconds. Like, we
yeah,
don't need to pull over. There's nobody behind us. I'm gonna be super
yeah,
quick.
like, go
Just
yeah.
slow, go
stop the
slow.
movement for a
Yeah,
second. Yeah.
Yeah, Nina says, "Don't drive faster than the eyes can see, and don't drive faster than
yeah,
your navigator can navigate."
yeah, for
Yeah.
Because
sure.
you really are a team out there, like, you have to have the patience to wait for your navigator to be ready, and the
Yeah,
navigator also needs to know that my driver's sitting over there, like,
yeah, like,
ready
come on, let's
waiting.
go. Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
For sure. So do you have the addiction, Gloria? Are you signing up next year? Is it too early to ask that?
It's not too early. I want to do it again, for
Yeah.
sure. How I'm gonna get there, I don't know yet. I'm not sure
Yeah.
on that. So I can't answer that just yet.
Nice.
But
Nice.
the heart's there.
But the
Yeah.
what?
The heart is there.
Oh, 100%. It's there. I loved it so much. I loved being surrounded, by you guys and everyone else, and just having that same mindset. And
Mhm,
that's what I had mentioned, um one time to you, Avis, is just being around, strong women that have that same mindset and that same drive and that goal, right? And the passion for what
Mhm.
you're doing. It takes a lot to be there. You know, the vast majority of all of us there, we took the time to be there. We either hustled 24/7, right, to sponsor ourselves, to get sponsors to sponsor us, paid out of pocket, trained,
Yep.
paid out of pocket to train, paid
Yep.
out of pocket to get everything, right, that we came with, right, that we
Yeah.
loved every day. Um,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
think that that takes a lot, and for all of us to be in that room together, plotting every morning, and then chilling, having dinner, right, in the evenings.
And
That,
laughing about the crap.
yeah, exactly. That you will not find anywhere else.
Mm-mm.
You just will
Yeah.
not find it. And I loved it. I loved every bit of it.
I'm
Yeah.
a marathoner, and so like a lot of times I can relate this to marathon training because you see this 26.2-mile marathon,
Yeah,
and yeah, you did that. Everybody's all excited about the marathon, but what they don't see is all the work that you have put in, the time of training.
yeah,
And so it's just like whenever you do get to experience that, like, you can't never explain the internal confidence and joy and the emotion that goes into it. It's
right.
amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Kara's the feeling side of us.
I
In case
am.
No, I love it.
just kidding. I love that about her. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
I it
said beautifully by both of you.
it's hard. I mean, it like Gloria said, it's expensive. I mean, it really is,
Mhm,
for the amateur side of things, but also it's time and training and being away from your daughter and
mhm.
your wife, and that's hard.
Yeah,
That's the real hard.
yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It definitely takes a toll on family and family life and family travel or vacation or and
Finance.
Emily likes to
Yes.
say right, Emily likes to say it's the cost of a nice skiing vacation. But usually if I'm going on a skiing vacation, I'm taking my family with me and this is
Mhm.
a particular opportunity that really our support and our family at home don't get a lot of participation in. I mean, they get the
Yeah.
joy of seeing us compete and seeing us really shine in our elements and connect with our
Mhm.
tribe and things like that, but they don't get a lot out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, it takes a big toll.
yeah, very
It is.
well put.
I
And
think all
then
of us are super lucky to have the support though that we do.
Yeah.
oh,
Some
heck
people
yeah.
don't. I can't imagine.
Yeah,
No,
it would be
no,
really
if
tough.
God wasn't
That'd be hard.
supporting me, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, all right,
So
what else? What else?
how did you I wanna know how she liked the Bronco because I actually had a
Ooh.
Bronco on order. I'm a Jeep girl. So,
Mhm.
but how do you feel like the Bronco performed, and do you feel like there was any changes that you would
So I am a Bronco owner too, but we
Mhm.
both have different suspensions. Like I have the full Carly kit on mine, so it's a
Mhm.
King shocks on all four corners, Carly spec, very smooth, very very smooth on a lot of those whoops like that. She has, I think it's like four wheel parts or something. So she
Okay.
changed from Bilstein to the four wheel parts, I believe is what it is. I thought it was pretty rough, and she at
Okay.
one point was like, this is feels rougher than
Mhm.
what I anticipated or what I thought it would
Mhm.
feel. But I mean, it's a four door too. It just really depends. I like it. I have a four door. I loved it. The suspension could have
Yeah.
been different to help. It was really
Yeah.
rocky, really bumpy. It just felt too bumpy to me.
Mm.
But if it was my Bronco, I would change the suspension for sure.
Yeah. I'm already looking at changing the suspension and some I have the Elka shock so I can make
Okay.
it softer,
Yeah.
but we're all like that vehicle is a rally vehicle now, and so it's just like, what can we do to make it's all about that for the Navigator for sure. Like
Yes.
you gotta make it as soft as you
As
can.
soft as you can for sure. And if I mean she doesn't have any like there's no reservoirs to be able to, change out and whatnot.
Adjust.
Yeah, to adjust.
Mhm.
And without that, you just gotta, take it as it is. So
Yeah. Would
Yeah.
you always
My
navigate or would you wanna drive?
I would like to drive at least one time. But
Yeah.
but I would be willing to change out, right? To go back and forth. Or
Okay.
even if it was like a day to drive.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like seriously, like I just because I also want to
The
get
monotony.
well, I want to get that firsthand experience of what the driver has to go through as well to fully
Mhm.
understand. Like
Yeah.
you said, you're waiting. Drivers are waiting, right? Having to
Yeah.
So
know
which
how fast or how slow, and to keep up with your navigator, to stay at that same pace as you're driving.
Yeah. Yeah. Liz and I switched up a little in training.
Yeah.
Mm,
When I was trying to help her
mhm.
increase her navigation skills, I drove her around a little bit, and so that was kind of fun for me, and on a few occasions, I've swapped for the enduros where I drove and had somebody
Yeah.
navigate me. So that was a lot of fun.
That's
But,
cool.
back to your point, Gloria, maybe just one day. So which day? Which terrain is it that you're driving?
Oh man, actually, that's tough now. I like
Right?
the
Because 'Cause they're all
terrains.
so different. It's all a
Yeah,
different skill.
yeah, they are. That is tough.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you consider yourself more of a rock crawler, or do you like the
No.
fast desert?
Yeah, I like that a lot better. I've done rock crawling, but it's I feel it's too slow.
Yeah.
Um, and not that I'm like impatient, but I like speed. I like to feel everything. But yeah, I like speed.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Yeah.
I like to rock crawl. I like the precision, and I'm not talking like the rock crawling that we did was not what I'm talking like Moab
Right, right,
on
right.
the side of a cliff,
Yeah,
like consequence level is high because I want to. I it's a the precision thing for me. Like I want to know tire placement. Like I think it's beautiful how you can put all of it together and be able to accomplish something at the end of it.
yeah. Now, yeah, you really
Yeah.
have to know your vehicle too.
Yeah.
You have to be
I
good at.
don't like mud. I don't like
Oh
mud.
yeah, I could stay away from mud too. I could stay away from mud.
That's
But
easy to do out here. There's
it's
not a
a
lot of
pain
mud
to
to find
clean.
out west. Yeah.
The aftermath sucks. That's a pain to
It
clean.
does. It's not bad
I
that
am not a driver, so I do not like rock crawling. I'm so short that I can't really see out of
Mm,
a lot of our vehicles, and the one that's set up best for rock crawling has this, like, bar in it, and I look under the bar, so my window is really, like, 2
yeah.
inches tall. Yeah, and I just don't drive enough to be able to rock crawl sufficiently, so if I'm gonna drive, I prefer, like, open desert, more like
yeah.
Gloria, just going a little faster. I know where my tires are, I can avoid the ninja rocks, but
Yeah.
the high consequences of rock crawling, that's I'll sit in your passenger seat all the time, but
Yeah, yeah,
don't
yeah.
put
Love
me in
it.
the driver's seat. My
I have to
palms
put
are
my
gonna
seat all
sweat.
the way up. So that I
Well,
can see over, I've got to put my seat all the way up too. Like, I mean, I do it anytime anyway. If I'm off-roading,
yeah,
especially out here at the Hidden Falls Adventure Park, it's a lot more rocky than anything. I have to put my seat up because I
yeah.
need to be able to see over so I can look at my trail sites, to see where my tire placement is going for sure. So
Yeah.
Well, then I'm so short my feet don't touch the floor. I am short, people, I am short, and my legs are the
Just
shortest part of me.
kick wedges on all
I
time.
know, right? Just go
There
glue some blocks on there.
it's no accident that I wear the, platform bands. So, true story, the first Jeep that ever was kind of like mine, was a 2012 JK, and it was a manual, and I ended up in the doctor's office because I was having this, like, muscular pain across my abdomen that I couldn't explain.
Mm,
Turns out it's because my feet weren't touching the floor, and so I was shifting gears basically I was using my abs to hold
yeah,
my feet up
oops.
the whole time I was driving. So
The
my
workout.
dad and Rob built me a 3-inch platform that sat under my pedals so my feet would touch the ground.
Oh wow, that's
When I
crazy.
say I'm short, I really mean it.
I've never heard of like someone having like, pain in the abs, but more
Yeah,
like your thighs, if anything, because your heel doesn't touch, so you're like pushing with your toe, right? So you're working your quads.
you
That's
would
I
think.
know
No, it was all in my abs.
I know the Tacoma, there's a some kind of kit that you can put underneath to lift up the
Ooh,
driver's seat.
that's pretty cool.
Oh, we have those.
Yeah.
The seat
I know
jackers.
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we had that in just the driver's seat, basically since the inception of the vehicle into our fleet. But then, when we were working on it to build it out for the rally, we moved the air compressor under the passenger seat, and so then that
Mhm.
lifted up the passenger seat as well. Liz
Oh,
is not
nice.
a tall girl, and she a lot of times was driving with her head a little bit tilted because her
Mm,
helmet was touching the roof.
Mm,
got you.
So
that
the
would be
Tacoma is
major
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
yeah, the Tacoma is not for tall people. It actually fits me very well.
Oh well.
Maybe
Yeah.
you should try driving next
Yeah, you should.
No.
year.
Nope.
That was quick. Not even a
Nope.
a couple seconds. Hell no.
Yeah, no, I mean, to really, like, be competitive in the rally, which I'm a very competitive person and, I only wanna come to win, I don't wanna just come to
Mhm.
play. So, like,
It's
I
too
just
expensive to
I
come just to play, I think, in
For
my
sure.
it
opinion.
Yeah.
really is. I don't have the tenacity that's needed to be a winning rally driver. I'm a good driver, I am a competent driver, I am not a rally driver. And I
Yeah.
know that about myself. Could I be? Sure, but it would take so much seat time and, like, it's just not me. Like, I like the passenger seat. I like the navigating. I like being I call it second seat. Like, when Rob and I are out together, I have no desire to have my own vehicle and have us having 2 vehicles roaming around.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
just not me.
Well, I feel the
So,
only way to improve too, especially as a navigator, is to continue in that
Mhm.
role, you know?
Mhm.
yeah,
It's really
yeah.
the only way.
I was
I
really
was really
surprised by the number of rookies that it said that they were switching roles whenever you could
same.
Mm,
see the roster. I was like, "Wow, that I." Because like you said, I feel like you have to before I'm comfortable switching in the role, I wanna be good with what I know,
yeah,
and then, then I will branch out. But
for sure.
I to learn that in the rally, that's tricky, especially your first year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um Yeah, I was blessed this year actually because after we nearly totaled the Tacoma and that took it out of commission for the last 30 days, I had decided early in the year that I would train lightly through the year, but those last 6 weeks I would really dedicate to training. And so I had a lot of weekends lined up. And when we didn't have a vehicle to train in, I ended up riding with a lot of different people and it turned out to be great because I was able to observe, like, Nina and Tara Lynn and how they work together, and that
Mhm.
helped me, like,
Mhm.
really put into perspective some new practices I needed to take into my navigating year, and then, just being able to navigate at pace with them
Mhm.
Yeah,
was really
Mhm.
good for me.
that's really good.
So,
I can't
yeah, I mean,
imagine
it was
that.
Gold right there.
tragic, but good at the same time.
Right. That's really,
I mean,
really
I rode with, I think, 5 or 6 different drivers.
So
okay.
does your wife like to do the whole off-roading thing?
No.
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 That was fast, that was
Which is
fast.
Amos's driving.
Yeah, she will gladly come, she will attend, she will be there, she'll be my passenger princess, but she's like, "Nope." She goes, "This is your thing. I would never want to be behind the wheel." She gets very like, "Oh my god, something's gonna happen," white knuckling it for real.
Yeah. Does
But
she
she's
camp or anything outdoors, or is
oh
it just
yeah,
no?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and she was in the army too, so there's some rough
Oh,
stuff
okay.
going on in there too. But yeah, I mean, but she just, as far as like taking a vehicle and off-roading a vehicle, she's just like, "Oh my god, I can't. What if something happens?" So, but
Yeah.
Yeah, and eventually something's gonna happen.
yeah, don't say that.
I mean, that's the price you pay.
It is
You're
the
you know,
best.
Yeah.
it's bound to happen. All right.
Yeah.
So, have you always had Bronco, or is this a new passion of yours?
No, so my grandfather actually had a Bronco when I was younger. I was raised by my grandparents. That was like his pride and joy. And then when they came out, I was like, I need a Bronco. I want a Bronco, right? Like, so I got mine in 22. So I've had it for 2 years now. And I
Was it
love
a Sasquatch, or what's its
it's
trim?
actually the base model. That's the
Okay.
only one
Okay.
I could find on the lot anywhere.
Yeah.
So, and I was
They're
like,
so hard.
they were very hard at the time to find. It's ridiculous. And now I drive around and they're everywhere, right? I'm just like,
Hmm.
what? But I tell you what, um, there is, for me, there is nothing that I can't do with that base that I have
Mm.
done off-roading. I
Hmm.
just have to pick the right lines,
Hmm.
I do, gas and brake at the same time, right? To keep the
Modulation.
traction
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, a lot of people don't know that, or they won't do that until you're taught. They're like, "Oh, I could do that with." I was like, "Yeah, you definitely can." There's little
I
tips
think
and
they're gonna mess it up.
yeah, and you're not going to. There's a lot that you can do without all the bells and whistles, and it's
Oh
so
yeah.
fun. It is so fun. You just got to
A
know
lot
it.
of times the vehicle is a lot more capable than the driver.
Yes, 100%. And it's just knowing. It's knowing what your vehicle can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Absolutely. It's
I'm
seat
sure
time.
there's still
Seat
a lot
time.
that I don't know that I'm gonna learn, over time. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think
I would have loved to have the Bronco, but I ended up not having the patience. So
it's a
yeah.
long wait. Some people were
it
waiting
was too long.
2 years. I was like, I'm not
Crazy.
gonna wait. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
wait.
So
I'm just gonna change stuff out a little, and
yeah,
I'll be good to go.
Yeah.
do it. Just do it. So does the base model have lockers? Like when you say it's just the base model, for those of us that
No
are
lockers.
not Bronco literate.
There are no
It's basically like
lockers.
a sport, I think, for a
No
Jeep.
Okay.
lockers at all. So
Okay.
that's why I have to really, play with that with the gas and the brake at the same time.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
if I'm ever in a situation or I've taken a line that I need to have lockers, I have to be really careful with that.
My
Yeah.
Jeep that I
Yeah.
have now is the first Jeep that I've ever had with lockers. If you learn to drive your vehicle stock, like completely base model, whenever you get the things that let you do other things like lockers, all of
Mhm.
that sway bar disconnects, you're like, this is like pushing an easy button.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Yeah, just but you're learning the meat and potatoes behind things like
Yeah,
that. I highly suggest getting something base and learning how to drive. Learn how to drive, and then you learn how
for
to
sure.
press those easy buttons.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people just go and they just push a button, boop boop. Okay, it's doing it for you.
But
But
what
do you
is it
know
doing? You don't
yeah.
know.
What's it
Yeah,
doing and how's it
Yeah.
doing it? How can you make the vehicle do it? What if it breaks on you?
absolutely,
What do you do now?
absolutely.
Right? So
Yeah.
There's
Last
so many electrical components that it's just like
too many
that's just another point of failure.
for sure.
Yeah, in 2023 when I was with Kristen and we were in the Bronco and she would be like, "Oh, I'm taking this mode or that mode." I was like, "But what is that doing for us?" And together, like, it was pretty new vehicle for her too,
Mhm,
because they hadn't been out that long and, so she was also learning, and so I was always, like, looking it up online, and I was like, "Okay, this mode, it's like it's tuning the engine, it's turning on this locker, it's putting us in four-wheel drive, or it's putting us in four low," and
mhm.
I was just like, "Oh my gosh," like, there's so much, like, you're just clicking a button, but it's
Yeah.
doing so much thinking for you,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I was like, "But what is it actually doing?" Like, we spent
Yeah,
a lot of time just learning
learning.
what is
That's
the
good
Bronco
though.
doing for
Yeah.
you when you
Yeah.
select something?
And like we
Yeah.
said, you need to know what it's doing. If you have no idea, if you don't have a concept of what it's going on inside, right, and how your wheels are moving and why or what,
Mhm.
it's what
Yeah.
good is it really to you if you
Yeah,
get to a situation where you don't have access to that? If
yeah,
there's a
Yeah.
failure, I know we kept it in four high pretty much the entire time. We hardly
same.
had to use lockers at all, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
super
I only
easy.
put
Nice.
it in 4 I only put it I didn't use lockers at all, but I did
Mhm.
put it in 4 low coming that last day trying to get that blue up on that hill
You
just because it
you
was
probably
super rocky.
yeah. I think I took Megan up. So if you can remember, right, where that flag was up at the top, and you
You
had
went
some
around the
choices.
backside?
So we didn't go that backside, right?
Oh, okay.
We went off to the right, and it was very steep. But I knew the Bronco can do it, right?
Mhm,
I've done something like that in the base, and I said, we can do it. We didn't
mhm,
have much time. I said, either we do it or we don't do it. But
Yeah.
I trust you can do it. I was like, I know you can do it. Let's go. And we went up. I mean, that was so steep, but
mhm.
like nothing. It was like butter, just all the way up. Coming
And I
down.
know oh,
coming.
we're not talking
Woo,
about coming down.
I
We're not
know.
talking about
Oh, I just want to give you a big old hug. But coming down, I think was I don't want to say harder in how we came down, but trying to find that right line to come down because there was a
I
few.
hate coming down in the first place. Like, I don't like because gravity, it's gonna pull you.
Yeah,
And so, like, I'd rather climb up with the like, against the grain because you can kinda feel your tires and know like, you're not gonna go backwards, right? Unless
right,
you're,
right,
like,
right,
really steep.
right.
But, I'd rather go up every day.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question, though, for you. So, I know y'all trained just a couple times because y'all
Yes.
met online. Like,
Yeah.
how did that how did that go? Like, as far as, like, putting the work to the actual rally?
We didn't train enough. We didn't have the
Okay.
opportunity to train enough,
Yeah.
And if we were closer to each other, I think we would have had ample
What's the
opportunities.
distance?
Too far. Texas, California,
Oh, yeah.
Northern
That's
California, Texas.
yeah. So it's I don't know. It's got to be over 17, 18 hour drive, maybe 20-hour
wow.
drive.
Yeah,
That's
and
a
you're, like, in the
long
middle
time.
of Texas, right?
Central Texas, yep. Near
Yeah.
Austin, like right at Austin, northern part of Austin. So it was very difficult. And the few times that we did, it just still wasn't enough.
Mm-mm.
We didn't know what to expect either until you're
Yeah.
there, until you're doing it for the first time. I felt like that was my training sesh. but I
Yeah.
picked up so much. Everything that was being thrown, I was picking it up. I was like, put that in my pocket, put that in my pocket. I'm going to use that today. I'm going to use that tomorrow. I should have used this yesterday, but I'm going to use it now, right? I changed the way I communicated things to her as well, right?
You
And
learned that. Yeah.
I picked that up too from Adriana. She's a navigator, and she's like, try saying it this way. Try, relaying this information this way. Maybe try that way. Um, and I think that helped a lot. So,
That's
gosh,
awesome.
we went from almost last to 38. I feel like that was a really good jump for us.
Heck yeah. For your
Well,
rookie year, that's for sure.
yeah, it felt really good. And had we been able to practice more, train more, uh,
Mhm.
communication's not bad. It's just there's a certain way you need to relay information when you're in competition
Absolutely.
mode, and you don't really know it
Absolutely.
until you've done it. So,
Yeah,
so
for
now I
sure.
know. Now we
That's what
know
they say. Your first year is for learning how to compete.
for sure.
Mhm.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or how not to
And a
compete.
lot. That too. No, that too, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to
Yeah.
make those mistakes too because how else am I going to learn? I don't want to keep repeating mistakes or something so like why did I
Mhm.
make that mistake? Like I'd rather have done it this year than
Yeah.
do
Break
it.
those habits.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Maris Adventure Park
No,
in
I have
Texas?
not. I had some friends that just went this past weekend. I need to go there.
So we are putting on an event for our patrons in a couple weeks. But Adventure Her, if I can recommend you to come to any, it's it's for women only, and it's like they bring their guides out, and it's just incredible. It's
Yeah,
in May.
yeah.
Highly
May.
recommend.
May what? Do you know?
It's usually around the first weekend. I think it's the don't get me to line, but I think it's like the second weekend May,
Okay.
the
I'll look that up.
weekend, like the 8th through the 12th, maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I just saw it's on my calendar. Um,
That would
nope,
be
it's
fun.
the 1st through the 4th. Yeah, but it's so much fun. Like that's where I met the Angie who did
Oh
the
yes, yes.
Bronco.
Yeah, yeah.
Like she's come out there and like it's so empowering and it's a good place to learn your vehicle and push your capabilities because there's different like they have super easy to really technical.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up too. But I
do
have
it. It's
heard
so
of
much fun.
Mertz. I have because I had some friends that just drove out there this past weekend with a little group. So I think it's like maybe
Highly
6 hours
recommend.
for me.
Yeah.
So
It's so crazy that Texas, like whenever you say it's like so many hours from me, I'm like, everything in Arkansas is like 2 hours away. Like I can go to the top, to the
yeah,
south, to like every which way. Like
yeah,
it's just
and it's because I'm right in the center,
yeah,
Yeah.
legit right in the center. So everything and Texas is so big, right? It's huge.
yeah.
Just all
Huge.
that traveling I'd have to do north, south, east, and west.
To get
Um,
out.
mm-hmm.
Just to get out.
Gosh, to get
Yeah.
out probably 10 hours. I don't know. I know from like where I'm from Brownsville, the most southern tip of Texas. If I just went straight shot on 35 north to get
Mhm,
all the way out to Oklahoma, it'd be like 13 to 15 hours, depending
mhm.
on traffic and all that.
Nobody wants to go to Oklahoma. It's fine.
No, no.
Ow.
It's just windmills.
But we
That
have
is
a lot of that
brutal.
too.
Um, okay, so the question that we like to ask everybody is, was it a life-changing experience?
Yeah, for sure. It was.
Oh,
It was. It
Why?
was.
because I say yes too, but Avis is like, I feel like I should be pointing. There we go. Avis says no.
Some
Yeah.
people say no.
He does.
Yeah,
Avis.
I do. I say no. So does Danielle,
Okay,
FYI.
tell me more. Tell
Your
me more.
first one.
Yeah.
So your first time. Hold on, hold on. Your first time, it wasn't life changing at all.
No.
No.
For me, it was not a life-changing experience
Hold
and
on. Don't
continues to
explain
be
why. Hold
Yeah,
on.
yeah. You don't
not.
have to
Let.
No,
explain
no,
why.
I'm
I
just
just
saying it continues to be not for me.
right. God, I feel like it's life changing for me, and it's not big. Maybe for some people it's very big, very huge, life changing thing. Like first time, I don't know, doing, I don't know, skydiving, something really like whoa, intense. But like I learned a lot about me and just how to
Mm,
communicate effectively. I thought I knew how to communicate effectively, and there's just I didn't. Right, like I had to really quick. That changed a lot. I was always on my phone big time, right? Social media.
mhm.
Now
Yeah.
I'm to the point where, so the week before, and this is a big thing for me because I felt like I could see, now I could see myself in the past. I was like, damn, I was always like this, right?
Mm,
Always like this on the phone, right? My kid was probably seeing that too. Not good,
mhm,
right? Even though I'm like, oh, I'm trying to create content. I'm trying to do this. We have a little YouTube channel. I'm trying to do this for us. And now I'm like, I need to do it a different way. And that's a big life changing thing for me and for my
or
family.
set time.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah.
So now what I do is I'll do it at night when they're sleeping, and
Mhm.
I'll create things and set them out for a few days so that
Mhm,
I don't have to constantly be on it and constantly thinking,
mhm,
what do I create? I set a little time, an hour, 2 hours
mhm,
max. That's a lot, but I'm doing more than one reel, right? More than one
mhm,
funny
Yeah.
thing, more than one post. And that has given me just this past week so much more time. So to me, that
mhm.
helped a lot. And it doesn't just affect me. And with anxiety too, being on electronics, that can your anxiety can go up, my
Oh,
anxiety
yeah.
can go down, and I just am able to do more at home with my family. So
That's
Nice.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that so much. If that's one thing that comes out of this rally for you, I think that right there is a win.
yeah,
Huge for your wife and your daughter. Like you
yeah,
said, your daughter, she sees that,
yeah,
and that's what she's gonna grow up and think that it's okay to be on my phone and
right,
ignore the people. Like, mm-mm.
right.
No,
And
I
it's
think,
not. It's not okay.
yeah.
Because you don't realize the bad habit that you're in and that you're
Mhm,
doing all the time until it's
mhm,
completely taken away. I can
mhm.
Yeah.
sleep better now too. I used to
Yeah.
just kind of get on the phone. If I woke up in the middle of the night, I would get back on the phone to try to make myself tired again. Not
Mm.
Yeah.
good. Because it was a bad habit that I was in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it was an excuse, is what it was that I was using. So now it stays, it's charged, and it's on the other side of my nightstand, and I don't touch it.
Has your wife noticed, like, has she noticed, like, it's changed that aspect of you?
I don't know. I should ask her. She
You
hasn't said
should.
anything. Yeah,
It's hard to recognize the good changes in our spouses sometimes
I think it is.
versus
Yeah.
the bad, right? Because the bad really shows up where the good just makes life better.
Yes, it makes things
So
better for
true.
sure. I'm gonna ask her
Yeah.
though. So
Yeah, ask her and just message us later and let us
yeah,
know. But I think it's so cool that you said that it was life changing because, like I said, I said it was life changing. Avis does bring a good, like, flip to, like, what is life changing, and you even kind of touched on it there, Gloria. But Avis, I'll let you explain it now.
Oh, life changing? For me,
Yeah.
like, life changing means that your life after that experience can no longer be lived the same.
mhm,
Like, when you get married, you're no longer thinking singularly, like, you're now two people. And when you have children, like, you're no longer just in life for yourself and your spouse. Like, you have these other human beings that you're responsible for. So for me,
Hmm.
like, that's what I consider to be life changing. And so after the rally, like, my life just went on
yeah,
because it just I don't know. For me, it was not a life-changing event. It was a very cool experience. It was a
yeah,
way to bring all of my life skills, roll them up into a ball, and test them all at once, but it wasn't really, like, life-changing for me.
yeah. That
But
makes
I
sense.
appreciate that it is for other people.
Mhm,
Now that
Hmm.
you said you learned a lot about communication, and yeah, it definitely has challenged my communication and led me to read more, but so have other events in my life, so
mhm.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just hardened.
Maybe I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I'm
But
more
yeah,
I
so
patient
think.
it
too. I feel like I'm more patient. I don't know if that.
okay.
I don't know if anyone came out like maybe just a little more patient, and with myself too.
Mm,
Like
Mm,
something I was like, man, am I right? Am I wrong in this? Did I give her
mm.
the right direction, or is it really? Like I don't know. I feel like I'm a lot more patient with myself.
Just the fact that you're questioning that if you're wrong, like, some people, that's a huge thing right there. They are
Yeah,
never wrong, you know? So,
yeah.
like, I think,
mm.
and whenever Ava still has my Jeep in her driveway,
Nice,
but
nice.
It's in
it's
my
so not,
garage,
well, yeah,
actually.
it's not completely unpacked, but even, like, I had luggage here, like, and like, the night that we came home and I had the vehicle here, like, he's like my husband was like, "Okay, let's start him," because normally when I get home, I'm still working, I'm packing, I'm like, let's deal with it, and then I can sit down."
Hmm.
But I was just like, "Mm-mm, it'll be there.
Yeah,
It'll be there
Yeah.
tomorrow." Like the priority shifts.
yeah, yeah.
Like, and I think that can be life changing if you allow it to be, because how you acted and how you treated your spouse and how, you were on your phone all the time. Like, if you allow even the little things can change the course of, like, who's to say, your phone doesn't lead you down to, a person that you're talking to more that you shouldn't be. Like it takes that
Right.
time away from your spouse. Like that could potentially change your life.
For sure.
So,
Mhm.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right, which is why I said like that to me was life-changing right there. You know?
absolutely, I love
It
that.
Yeah.
is. And in a positive way.
I'm
So
supportive of life changing.
awesome.
I mean, I've always been in the competitive realm growing up
Hmm.
and through life, and so I don't know, I'm always kind of challenging myself to what's next, what's new, how can I grow, what have I
Mhm.
learned?
Hmm.
So for me, I guess the rally is just it's another part of that journey of
Okay,
my
yeah,
life.
Yeah.
that's awesome. I think that's beautiful too. I think that
Yeah.
it's cool that you like have always had that instilled in you. I
Yeah.
didn't. So that's awesome. Gloria, what's next for you? Like, what's going to be your next challenge?
Outside of Rebel?
Sure.
No. I don't know.
Nothing?
My goal,
Are you
nothing.
rested? Are you rested up?
Nothing as intense, right? Well, my first week back, I was so tired. Took a nap 3 days in a row for like an hour and a half to 2 hours. My wife was like, "You're napping. You never nap, and your snoring is like out of this world, right?" And I was like, "I'm sorry." I felt like I was okay. Even traveling back, I had a really long day of traveling. I had like a 9-hour layover. Um,
Mm, that's horrible.
well, you see, but if you have lounge access, it's okay. So I was like, I had good food, awesome waters and drinks and everything. So it was good. But when I came back, I came off that high, right? It
Mm,
probably took a
and
good
it
day.
hits you.
It took a good day, and no, I didn't want to come off the high because I was so tired. Everything just, I'm
Mhm,
tired. And I kept saying, I don't even understand what I'm trying to say. I was telling my wife, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant to say, or I can't think of what I'm
mhm,
trying to say. It was the craziest feeling. But I want to say now this week is so much better.
mm,
Um, my goals for the year um, is to practice on my weak points, really train
mm,
my weak points. For next year, I'd really like to get back at it next year. I'm hoping and praying that I can make it happen again. I think I can. It's in my heart that I can, right? I'm very positive about
Good.
that. Um, but outside of Rebel, there isn't really anything else. We're trying to take a really big trip. Um,
mhm.
if we can do that. So
So, what weak
Nice.
points are you looking at? Like, what are you training
Yeah,
for
that's what I was
remember
gonna
exactly?
how
ask.
yeah. So how I had said that my speed from
Mm,
one checkpoint to the next, right? Those in betweens, I need to get
mhm,
faster. I
Pace.
need to know, yeah. Um, pace myself throughout the day too, so I'm not so fatigued.
Yeah.
Um, just plotting more, plotting more. I was able to
yeah.
do it. You know, there was only one day that I had to do it in the vehicle, and that was the morning after the night I got bit by a crazy ton of ants.
Mm.
Oh, the
I
Glamis.
Yeah, I didn't sleep. Maybe three
Yeah.
hours, 4 hours. It
I can't
felt
believe that.
it
I
was
I
bad.
didn't hear about that until Katie announced it
It
as
was
y'all.
y'all, it was so bad. That was the worst. To wake up, and sometimes you feel like a fly or something's on your right, and you'll just kind of like tap it, and you're done. But I kept feeling little legs and stuff, and I was just like, "What is going on?" So
Mm,
I got my headlamp right, and I turned it on red so I wouldn't wake up Megan because I was being considerate. And I saw just in my sleeping bag on me, I felt him on my head. I had bites
Oh.
on my head. I had bites down my arm, my back, my thigh. It was bad. And I told her, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I need to wake you up. There's a lot of ants in here. I said, it's not like 5, 10. There was a lot. A lot. Like we were killing a lot. I don't know for how long, but finally we're like, let's just sleep in the car. And
mm,
it was full of stuff, so we couldn't put the seats back all the way. So I was sitting up,
Mm.
trying to sleep. You get cold. The wind.
mhm,
Remember the wind? How crazy it was?
Oh
I
my
saw
gosh.
those tents like blow, and I thought the tents were gonna blow away.
yeah.
So
I slept in my vehicle. I started in my like at all
yeah,
marathons. I slept in my vehicle, and I
nice.
loved it. It was the
Yeah,
greatest. But were you on a cot or were you just on the ground?
on the ground, on our mat on the
Mm,
ground. But We don't know where they came in from. We looked
That's
everywhere.
insane.
We looked everywhere. And before setting our tent down, we had kind of leveled the ground a bit. So we moved it. We shuffled our feet all over the ground. Nothing. But we were by this small bush tree thing.
Mhm.
So maybe they came from there.
Maybe that's
I
more.
don't know. But that was the only time the next day where I had to just, I didn't finish the night prior. I don't know. I don't remember why I didn't
Rightfully
finish,
so.
but I didn't finish. I remember being really exhausted,
Yeah.
mentally
It
drained,
was a
right?
long day.
Yeah, it was long. But my plan was to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'm gonna get in the car at 4 o'clock and I'm gonna go. Because think about it, 4 o'clock that time is 6 o'clock here in Texas. That's nothing
Yeah.
for me. Okay. So it's easy for me to wake up early, but I couldn't, y'all. Hell, she
Yeah.
woke up, got out of the car. I was still sleeping. I was like, I can't.
I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
hate ants.
I hate them too.
I once
I hate
stood
bugs.
in a pile of ants and like you, I looked down and they were like kind of covering me and I literally lost my freaking mind.
Yeah. They hurt
Like
Mm-mm.
too.
you would have thought I was like taken over by some poltergeist or something. I was like freaking out.
Yeah. It definitely makes for a hard night's sleep, and then dealing with the wind, and you probably woke up at the peak of the wind, so not only were you dealing with the ants and being exhausted, you were also then awake and having to listen to the wind and try to go
Mhm.
back to sleep.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes. And I remember, like, sleeping bags can keep you pretty warm. So I was in shorts and a shirt, but I was like, I'm going to be in the vehicle. Not
It got
Erica.
chilly.
Yeah. Megan's like, make sure you get your sweats and your long sleeve on because you're going to get cold. And
Mhm.
yeah, I was like, fuck, I don't even have my socks. Like, I didn't know I didn't care. I just wanted to close my eyes because I knew that I was going to be so fatigued. And I was. My eyes were red. I was tired. And I looked at her, I was like, the first time I said, I'm really tired.
Mm.
He's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, it's not your
Yeah.
fault, right? But I'm really tired and I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry. I'm so tired, but I'm going to do the best that I can. So let me plot
Oh,
here. We stayed there. We decided not to go for any of the checkpoints. The first part, like the first, I think it was 4 checkpoints in the dunes. I said, I gotta finish.
those are
That's
sucky ones anyways.
where they,
They were hard to
man.
get to.
Yeah. I mean, we
I
wanted to, but we had to make, you know, an executive decision there. And that was the decision that we made. We decided, no, let's keep plotting. Let's get our mind right. Let's make sure we're good. We had to clean out a lot of stuff to make sure we didn't bring ants into the vehicle because that would have
Right?
been bad
Wow.
too. Setting up that night again, imagine with more, still ants. No,
Oh, yeah.
we
Horrible.
took time in the morning to kind of get ready to head out. We
I
were
think
exhausted.
that's a really smart decision that you made because, like, if you look at those points, I mean, yeah, there were some points or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, you could have had more of a clear mind to
For
go
sure.
after the later ones
Yes.
rather than be
Yeah.
so worried with, "I gotta start here."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that was pretty good
Yeah.
Yeah.
thinking, even
Yeah.
with little sleep.
For sure.
Decision and strategy is big.
It
It's big.
is. It is. Yeah.
So, in a perfect world, you're fully funded for next year. You have an awesome teammate. You guys are in a Bronco, probably. It sounds like. What are your goals and intentions for next year?
I'd like us to be top 10. I think,
Top 10.
and if we were fully funded, okay, right?
Oh,
That is more time to train. That is,
Mm,
correct.
we didn't have that. And I can't just say me, myself, because Megan and I were hustling. We were working our butts off, right? Contacting
Yeah.
people left and right, and then working for everyone that had said yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't just accept something and not give back. Because one,
Right.
that's not who we are. And two, all the
right,
companies that we reached out to that worked with us and that we partnered with, we believed in 100%, and we still do. Right. So we wanted to give back as much as we could. That took a
right.
lot of time too. And like I was telling my wife, and she said it too, if you can get this fully funded, you wouldn't be so stressed. You know,
Mhm,
you'd have more time to train. You wouldn't be so disconnected from the family too. Because I felt
mhm,
it.
Yeah.
mhm, mhm.
So
Yeah.
that is the main goal. I'm going to try um, to do that, to get that done. And if like you said, in a perfect world, if I could, get that fully sponsored or have it fully funded, I'm going to train hard, like so
Yeah,
hard. Like I'm coming hard. So
Yeah. Now, are
I think
are
it's awesome.
you and Megan looking to go again, or do you think the distance was just too much to overcome?
I think it was too much. So yeah,
It's
Yeah.
super hard. My Danielle, my teammate, she's only like 3 hours away,
yeah,
so that's That's really I can't imagine having the distance for one thing, and then also not some people don't even know their teammate and like they don't like at
Okay, so
all.
I was about to say that, but some teams did really well, right?
I don't
But they're
know.
veterans. They were veterans.
Yeah, yeah.
So they
Like they
get
Yeah.
can if that's a big deal
I
for
think
sure.
if someone's gonna come brand new to this, try to get with someone close or have the funds available to be able to travel to each other and train
Mhm.
and train and train and train because it is so
Yes.
hard. And people, we thought we had the communication down because yeah, we can chit chat like this all day, right?
Right.
We can
But under
we
pressure and
under
plotting
pressure,
and
in a competition environment and setting, right? Um, it's very different,
yeah.
very very different, and you have to be on the same page too. Whoever
Mhm.
people partner with, you got to make sure that even though you know your roles, don't just know it as the title. Know what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And know what the other person's doing, and then you
Mhm.
have to trust each other, and
Mhm.
that's a big thing. You have to trust each other. Driver, trust your navigator. Navigator, trust the driver. Don't become
Mhm.
a backseat driver unless they say, I need your eyes, or you're really helping, right? Hey, careful with
Yeah.
that rock. Hey, watch this, watch that. Driver, if your navigator says, we need to turn here, we need to start here, go with it. Because 9 times out of 10, they're correct, right? They're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We're not going to steer you wrong. We're not here to steer our drivers wrong. We
No.
you know some of us can see, we look at a map and it just talks to us, right?
Mhm.
Especially even if someone's brand new to it, after a couple days it talks to you even more. You become
Yep.
one with your map. So having just a partner that has your back to 100%, it's going to help so much, make it so much easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I was
I
gonna
hope you
ask
get
if you
fully
have any
funded.
parting words for rookies, but I think you just
I
delivered them.
think
So
yeah. I'm
Hopefully
just
it
like
helps.
I want to see you compete. I've signed up for next year, so I want to see you there.
Awesome. Yeah, I want to say, yeah, yeah. I just can't say like right now, just
Mhm.
because there's different avenues that maybe I can go about to get there.
Yeah.
And I haven't decided how yet and with who yet. And I think it's like so important to pick the right person and someone who has the right mindset. Because it's tough. It's not easy.
yeah.
When I tell people it's hard, it's not just hard in the role you're playing and what you're
Mhm.
doing. It's hard because you're with someone in a vehicle for so long, but you're not
Mhm.
just going on a vacation or going on a drive, looking
Work.
outside the windows. You're not, you're telling each other what to do, what not to do, da da da. So it's hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful hard, but it is
It
hard.
is beautiful hard. It sure is. I love it. Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see what happens for you next year. And I'm a big supporter of hard goals, and so I support the top 10 goal.
Thank you. It's hard. I
Yeah.
know it is, but it's right here. So
Yeah.
that's a goal.
Awesome. All right,
Sweet.
ladies. I think that rounds out our hour. I thank you, Gloria, for coming and sharing all of
Thank you.
your insight from your first year.
Thank you. Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
I hope to
Mm.
see you there at the starting line. If not, come to trainings anyways. Like you said,
Yeah.
it's never too much training.
No,
So
for real. You're
Yeah.
right.
All right, ladies. Thank you.
Y'all have a good
thank
one.
Bye.
you. All right, you too. Bye.